Hello, welcome back to my channel. And uh, today, so we will see the functions in the JavaScript. Okay, types of functions or functions. What is the use of functions in JavaScript? Okay, we will see functions.js. Okay, we will see the types of functions in the JavaScript. First of all, what is meant by function? Functions are nothing but functions. Say functions are nothing but are usable blocks of code. Okay, so with the help of functions, we can create reusable code and also block of code. So if you're creating a reusable code, right? So that will be very easy to call those functions in other test cases, in other places also. So functions, right? So a function is in JavaScript or no, it will always return a default value if you are not returning anything, but it returns a default value. So if you want to return separately by calling uh, by separately a function, then you can use the return option, right? So return statement should always be the last line of the statement, right? So function takes the inputs, perform actions, returns output, right? Functions takes the input, performs action, process the input, and return the actions. Okay. So this is how the functions. So functions can have parameters. So functions without parameters we can do without parameters. Functions can have parameters that can be hold the functions, arguments or functions. Okay. Okay. We will try to uh, give a function. So first of all, we will understand uh, what is the with the parameters. Okay. Yeah. First of all, we will understand a basic function. 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 So we will go with add two numbers. Okay. Add two numbers. This is function declaration. Can you see? So here the function, right? This is the function keyword. This is the function method name, right? We call it as a method. Okay. Function method name. And num1, num2 are the arguments. Arguments within the braces, within the parentheses. Okay, we can call it as arguments or parameters. So, and the numbers, right? Num1, num2. So, this num1, num2 are the variables. It holds some values. So, we are assigning to one variable sum, which is denoted with the let keyword, and return sum. This function returns the output, always written at the bottom of the function. Okay, now when you are calling the function, just function name, just directly call function name, add two numbers, 10 comma 20. This is one way of calling. This is the other way of calling. Okay. See, it will be like this. Okay. 10 comma 20. Okay. We will say 30 comma 20. Okay. This is node operator, right? We need to take the function. Node function.js. Okay, can you see? 30 plus 20, 50, right? Ah, this one, right? You need to print it. Console.log, the function. Then only it will give the output. Okay. Can you see? First one is 30, second one is 50. Right? You understood, right? Both the functions. So here one thing we need to understand is here this is the parameter, right? This is the parameter. So however we are giving the parameter of a function. So we have one more thing called default parameters. Okay, default parameters. Okay, this is a what we can call it as with the parameters. This function with the parameter function with the parameters or arguments. Meters with return type. Okay, this is functional declaration. This is the return, right? Now we are seeing with the default parameters with the default parameters. Okay, so it is also giving. Now what I'll do, right? I'll go with the default parameters. Function. Okay, multiply by 2 now. I will take this function. Can you see? It is same, right? Above one. There addition we did. Here we did subtraction. So default parameters means here also we are passing the parameters, but A is the variable. We are passing just the variable, but here we are seeing the b equal to 2 means default parameter. We are assigning value to the variable and we are passing. Now this 2 uh, we are going with these two variables a into b. This is the multiplication, and we are assigning to one variable and we are writing the product, that variable name. Okay, or you can change the variable multiplication. Here also it will change. Okay, multiplication. Now call the function. Copy the method name. Yeah, console.log. Can you see? Console.log multiplication of 5. Okay. Now, when you observe here, in first calling, multiply by numbers, by default, we are passing this parameter, right? By default, we are passing value in this parameter. Even if you don't pass any parameter, by default, it will take 5 into 8. Just give 8. So, in next one, only one parameter we are passing. One for A only, the value we are passing. For B, no, if you don't pass anything, it will directly pick the b equal to 2. This is the default parameter it will pick. See, it should be 5840. This is a 5 into 2, 10. The output should be 2. Can you see here? 5 is 40, 5 to the 10, right? This is the difference between with the parameter with the default parameter. Okay. I hope it makes sense. If people are understanding. Okay. Now we will see the types of functions. Okay. First function is the named function. Okay. How the named function is going to be. Okay. So named function. So the first one is with named function. Okay, named function. Named function. Okay. So whatever we are saying above, no, this is called named function. Okay. So function, named function, right? Function. I will give the same. Function name is named function. Okay, named function. So without so here without parameter also we can pass it. Okay, named function. Okay, now console.log named function. This is how you will call the function. Just simple function. Okay, just you will call the named function. Okay, so the name is named function. Here one thing, no, why here we use the console, but we use the return, right? That time it didn't print the output, right? Why now it printed the output? Because even we are not using console.log function, we are printing in this named function, right? This is the difference. Okay, here only we are printing within the function. So that's why if you call the function name directly, it will print. You see here, it got printed here. Okay, this is called named function. So when you are providing the name of the function, it is called, or one more example, right? One more example, named function, right? Function, function. Just say greet name. Hello, my name. Okay. Now just go the complete function. Say when you are using return a hello, you need to give the console. If you are using console log here, you don't need to provide the console.log. Directly you can call the function name. So allies. So named function. No, whatever the function name we are giving, nothing but named function. So that is simple. Okay. So hello allies. Okay. All right. Now we'll go with the anonymous function. Very important function. Anonymous function. This function, no, anonymous function is a function without name. These two are very important. Anonymous function is a function without name. So that is the word it is telling, without name. So anonymous function is always assigned to one variable. So that is what it is telling. Okay, anonymous function. Okay, suppose we will say now, however, we have done multiplication here, right? So we do the same function for anonymous function. How it is going to be, right? Function. Okay, function. Function. I'm giving the arguments C comma D. Okay, there are two arguments, anonymous function, and can you see here? This is my function declaration. I'm telling return C comma D directly. Okay, return C comma D. Multiplication we are using function C comma D are the two parameters. Return means multiply that value and return that value. I'm telling. Okay, this is nothing but a function is a keyword. So can you see here? This is function is a keyword. This is a function method name, right? But when it comes to anonymous function, there is no name at all. Okay, only keyword is there, parameters are there. Okay, so this is how the anonymous function is defined. Okay, now go to use here let multiplication equal to. Now this is the function. See, anonymous is a function without name. There is no name at all. This is anonymous function. So and and anonymous function is always assigned to one variable, right? Right? It we can't call directly this one because there is no name, right? That's why we are assigning to one variable. Always it is assigned to one variable. So people are clear, right? Now, when it assigned to one variable, just type console.log, console.log. Can you see? Multiply 5 comma 4. Multiply 5 comma 4. Or so multiplication result you can keep equal to multiply 6 comma 7. And can you see here console log. So this is how anonymous function works. See anonymous function results. 5 4 20, 6 7 42. Right? This is how anonymous function is defined. This is a very important function we will use. Anonymous function. Anonymous function. Even you can call the same function like with this also. Same function. Just give the same thing. Copy this function. How we are going to try this name. Right? So there is no method name and name, right? We are passing name here. Constant get anonymous. Anonymous function. Okay. Anonymous function equal to, okay. Copy this console.anonymous function something go log. Okay. Anonymous function log. So this is how you are going to work with anonymous functions. Right? Okay. Now arrow function. We have arrow function. Arrow function or fat arrow function. This is the ES6 latest one. So arrow function is always anonymous function. One thing, yes, it is true. And arrow function is always assigned to variable. Okay, arrow function is always denoted with assigned to one variable, and arrow function is like, so this is how we will assign that arrow function. Okay, this is the syntax using this syntax. There are, it is very like shorthand functions, we can call it shorthand functions, which makes them more useful in test cases. Okay, see how we are using arrow functions in the sense, suppose now okay, so arrow functions are the short way to write the functions we discussed, right? Arrow functions, arrow syntax function, arrow functions are arrow functions are array short way short way to write functions in JavaScript. Okay, so this is very important. Arrow functions now regularly we will use in the many test cases, many functions. Okay, here one thing is, so let can you see here, let, okay, we'll go with the subtraction only. Subtraction, okay, equal to, what are the arguments? You need to pass the arguments x comma y, right? X comma y here implies, so implies the statement. What is the statement? We can write like this. This is the statement. Whatever the code which is available within the parenthesis, within the flower brackets, we call it a statement. Okay, this is a simple arrow function. So let subtraction, see here arrow functions, fat arrow functions. Arrow function is always anonymous function, so it also don't have function name. Okay, and arrow function is always assigned to variable. This is assigned to variable. Arrow function syntax is this one. Okay, equal to greater than symbol. Arrow functions are a short way to write functions in JavaScript and many more test cases. This is one way, short way. Okay, this is one. Now, how are you going to call? Can you see like this? You can call, or you can do like this. Okay, this is one short way. Arrow functions. Can you see here? 10 minus 5, 5, 20 minus 8, 12, right? These two are the results. So we will try to create one more example. So let division, right? We will go to division and more or less. Okay, modulus function. This is variable name equal to. So it is giving, right? We take the variables m comma n. These are the parentheses we pass. Implies directly you can write like this also. M. This is the statement, right? Yeah. N. Can you see here? So like this also you can write. So either you can go and write like this in the form of statement, or directly you can mention like this. So that is why very simple and shorthand. These are nothing but arrow functions. enter. Console.log more or less function. So you need to provide the function name 10 comma 3. So 3.33. This one we did not create it, right? Right. So now we'll see the output. Can you see? Okay. More or less will return the remainder, right? Okay. One is the output. So this is very important. Arrow function is very important, right? Right. Now